Deer hunting offers a variety of strategies and approaches based on the season, terrain, hunting culture of the area, and your personal preferences. For example, early in the season, when the weather is warm, you may wish to hunt from a tree stand or an elevated blind. Later, if it's cold or icy, you may choose to stay on the ground, hunt from a blind, or slowly walk through the woods. You may even choose to hunt with friends as part of an organized deer drive or track deer in snow-covered terrain. All of these approaches can be successful. The key is to be safe and have fun. When deer hunting, a stand is simply a location that you're hunting from. It can be a tree stand where you're hunting from an elevated position, or it can be a specific spot in the woods or along a field edge where you're in a ground blind, sitting beside a tree, or even hiding in a ditch. Tree stands come in many shapes, sizes, and colors. Hang-on stands, or hang-ons, are tree stands designed to be attached to a tree with a chain or a strap at the height you want to hunt from. They include a seat of some kind, and you typically access these stands with strap-on climbing sticks or screw-in tree steps. Climbing stands, or climbers, are attached to the base of the tree, and you use them to climb to the desired height and then hunt from them. Climbers consist of two halves that attach to the tree separately. You stand in the bottom half, and you hold onto or sit in the top half and climb the tree like an inchworm. Climbers have the advantage of allowing you to be very mobile and flexible with your stand sites. Ladder stands are essentially hang-on tree stands, but with a ladder attached. Ladder stands are propped against and strapped to a tree. They include a ladder to climb and a platform seat to hunt from. Finally, there are elevated blinds. These have become increasingly popular in recent years, and they are simply hunting blinds placed on wooden or metal frames to allow hunting from an elevated position. Elevated stands provide many advantages, including increased view, enhanced scent control, and a safer field of fire. Hunting is extremely safe. However, we put ourselves at risk every time we hunt from an elevated position. Safety harnesses are extremely effective at keeping us safe, but they only work when we use them properly. You should never climb into or out of a tree stand or hunt from one without wearing a safety harness that is attached to the tree or to a lifeline. Elevated stands are very popular, but hunters have been pursuing deer from the ground long before the first tree stand was ever constructed. Some hunters prefer to hunt from the ground because they don't like heights, they like the added challenge, or they just prefer a different strategy. You can hunt simply by sitting or standing next to a tree. A lot of deer are shot every year by hunters using this method. A big advantage is that you don't need to purchase a stand or a blind, and you don't need to carry anything into the woods with you. Ground blinds are great too. Blinds have the advantage of allowing you the opportunity for some movement without spooking wildlife. They are great for mentoring new or seasoned hunters, and they can provide a stand site even if there aren't any trees or cover in the spot that you want to hunt from. Hunting on the move is very different from hunting from a stationary location and has different advantages and challenges. Still hunting is a strategy where you move extremely slowly through the woods or cover while looking for deer. Hunters employing this strategy are most successful when they move quietly for a short distance, slowly scan the area ahead of them for deer, and then quietly move a short distance again and scan again. The idea is not to walk continuously. Instead, you want to attempt to be invisible, slip through the cover, and not alert deer to your presence. You can also drive hunt. This technique involves a group of hunters working together to move or push deer past a group of strategically positioned watchers, or shooters. You conduct the deer drive by placing one or more watchers where they'll have a good chance of seeing deer. And then the remaining hunters walk through the woods attempting to drive or push deer to the watchers. Next is spot and stalk hunting. This involves first spotting the deer from a stationary location and then stalking to within shooting range of that specific animal. This strategy can be used by both archery and firearm hunters, but it is much more common in open settings such as the Western United States. This strategy requires skill and knowledge of the quarry and terrain. However, it rewards hunters with extremely exciting experiences. Regardless of where you choose to hunt, your strategy can range from simply watching for deer to getting more aggressive and calling to them. Deer actively communicate with vocalizations throughout the year, and this is especially true during the hunting season. Early in the season, mimicking a fawn can bring a doe running to you, while during the breeding season, grunting is a great technique to call in a buck. You can rattle to simulate two bucks fighting, you can use scents to attract deer to your stand site, and you can even use a decoy to help lure deer into shooting range. This is extra gear to carry into the woods, but it can provide some outstanding action and excitement. When calling or decoying deer, here are a few things to remember. First, if using a decoy, place it in an area where deer can see it from a distance, and set up in a place where deer can't get downwind of you. That could be a thicket, a body of water, or steep terrain behind you. If trying to call a buck to a decoy, stay away from feeding areas and places that does frequent. The does will usually show up first and get spooked when they realize the decoy isn't real. Bucks, on the other hand, can be very easy to fool during the breeding season, even going so far as to attack the decoy. Study real deer sounds from online videos and then practice mimicking them. The more realistic you sound, the better your chances of calling in a deer. Always start calling from a place or at a time when deer can't see you. And once you've gotten a deer's attention, stop calling so they don't spot you. If they identify you as the source of the sound, they'll run in the other direction. Your goal is to make them curious enough to come check things out. Try raking over bushes and the ground to mimic bucks rubbing or fighting. This adds an element of realism that calling alone can't do. And finally, vary the volume and the type of call you use to reach deer at different distances. Start softly in case there are deer nearby, wait 10 to 15 minutes, and increase in volume if nothing shows up. The sound of antlers rattling or a snort wheeze will often carry further than a grunt. Another way to bring deer within shooting range is to create a feature on the landscape that deer will naturally want to use, such as a trail, scrape, or funnel. For example, you can create a mock scrape by picking a branch that is about 5 feet off the ground and scraping aside the leaves and soil underneath it to create a bare spot. Then hang a scent dripper on the branch or spray some buck urine on the soil. Some hunters even urinate in the scrape themselves. However you choose to hunt, remember that deer see movement extremely well, so be still and do more looking than moving if you want to see more deer. Well, that's a quick overview of deer hunting approaches, but there is so much more you can learn by visiting the National Deer Association website at deerassociation.com. Have fun and good luck in the woods.
To learn more, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, or head over to www.deerassociation.com. This video is part of the official NDA Deer Hunting 101 online course with Today's Hunter. For the full course, go to www.todayshunter.com/Deer 101. This Deer 101 digital series has been a Bearded Buck production.